Hi guys, welcome to Bitcoin Bankers. Please like, please subscribe. We're going to look at Bitcoin today, have a very quick look at Doge, Cardano and probably Ethereum. That's about it towards the end. But something very important I'd like to talk about first. And if you're going around YouTube, you're probably seeing a lot of Bitcoiners. Twitter and YouTube are kind of the place where a lot of Bitcoiners put their stuff. However, it's getting more and more narcissistic, shilling. A lot of what was happening in 2017, there was a lot of bullshitters, there were a lot of scammers come out. There's not as much scamming now as there was in 2017, 2018, but you are seeing ridiculous amounts of shit coins come out that are just worth absolutely nothing. Be careful when you're trading that you put your money into worthy investments. You need to have a strategy, okay? And I'd just like to talk about this first because it's really important to talk about. Rather than just looking at price all the time, I'd like to cover a few things. And so the first thing I'd like to cover is, number one, a lot of these YouTubers have no skill whatsoever in financial management, trading management, price direction, understanding markets. Most of them have quit their day jobs because they've made some money on Bitcoin and they think they now have all cryptos and altcoins, and they now think they have enough knowledge to tell you how to make money because they were lucky enough to buy into a specific time and caught a trend. Okay, there's a furthest thing from the truth. So the first thing I'd like to address is dollar cost averaging and buying the dip. Okay, a lot of people are always telling you cryptos are us. I am George. This guy. Do not listen to his financial advice. If you want to watch him because he does other things, that's fine. But if I were you, I'd steer clear of his financial advice. All right. Dollar cost averaging is only useful when you have a long-term bullish trend. Okay. I don't dollar cost average. That's not the way I do it. I've had some other very successful traders. Okay, if you're investing, that's one thing, but if you're trading, and you don't have to be a day trader or anything like that, but if you do trades even every couple of weeks, dollar cost averaging is not something that you really want to focus your time on. Okay, because you dollar cost average, as I said, into a bull market. When the price starts moving, you want to buy at a certain range. When they're getting a breakout, you hold that, it moves up to a certain point, it pulls back a little bit, usually about 20-30% of what it's gone up. And then, that's usually a pretty safe place to add a little bit more to your trade. You go up a little bit more, you add some more. When it gets to a certain point where the trend is really starting to bow over and it's really exhausted itself, that's a time when you want to actually start taking profit. As the asset, let's use Bitcoin for now because that's what we're talking about, as the asset starts to come over and lose its momentum because it's had such a massive run up, it's got to get to a point where you say, okay, I've taken my profit, now I want to start taking my asset off the table. Okay, when you take your asset off the table, you're protecting your asset because there's no point having that hold in this price here. So if you bought in at 12,000, it's gone up to 63, and then it comes back to 30,000, you've lost 50% of what you've already made. Now, yes, you're still in profit, but if you got out at, say, 63, well, then you can now now have twice the buying power that you had before at 30. So if you bought one Bitcoin at 12, it went to 63, you took your profit, took a lot of profit, and then you sold at 63 or 60,000, and it's gone down to 30,000, you can now buy 2 Bitcoin. Okay, if you stay in it and it goes down and you've got a little bit of money, you can maybe buy 0.2%. So which is better? Is it better to go to cash, or is it better to stay in and just let all your profits deplete by 50-60%? Okay, I know what I do. All right, so my point is, you don't dollar cost average as the price is coming down. That you're losing money constantly. Okay, and you don't buy each dip. So if it dips down, then goes up a bit, and then dips down again. Each dip as it's coming down in a bear trend or a bear market, whichever you want to call it. You don't want to dollar cost average as it's coming down because all you're doing is adding more to a losing position. Okay, now that's just fucking stupid. if you can't figure that out, you need to really sit back and have a look and really go learn some strategies about trading. So don't dollar cost average into a dropping market. It's bloody stupid. Okay, if you're a hodler and you're a long-term hodler, we're talking 5-10 years, you're going to just buy bits of Bitcoin each time, then it shouldn't matter whether the price is all-time high, all-time low, in a dip, whatever. You're just adding to yours. And if you can get it as cheap as possible, great. That's all that matters. You shouldn't even really be focused that much on profit, on short-term or mid-term profit. That wouldn't even be your goal, because your goal is to accumulate Bitcoin and have some in 10 years' time that will actually be far more than what you bought in here. That's another strategy that's slightly different. All right. And finally, if you're listening to a lot of these people on YouTube and you're setting them up as idols, whether it's Elon Musk or or We Are George or bloody Max Kaiser or any of these people, I love Max. Okay, I love Max Kaiser, but I find a lot of them are just becoming they're shilling their own shit, or they're just talking about themselves all day. There's a lot of narcissism out there, and it's just, I can't stand it, so I don't involve myself with it. So anyway, at the end of the day, that's an important issue I really wanted to get across. And why don't we now go have a look at the markets, and we'll see where Bitcoin's going, okay? Just on a quick note, as I was saying before, guys, these people like BitBoy Crypto and things, like, they've got 1 million subscribers, but they're only getting 81,000 views. Why? Because a large portion of their subscribers are either paid, same with these guys, they all just hodl together and they pick up each other's fans, They also probably buy a certain amount of boosts and fans and things to get their channel up high, okay? Just because they're the most popular, it doesn't mean they have the best opinion, all right? Most of them are full of shit. Most of them don't know what they're talking about. I know this guy here, he lost $1 million in some trade. He also bought ADA at a high price when the market was going down, so he's down 21% on that trade, so he's lost 200,000. Don't hang with losers, okay? Find people who are worthwhile listening to, all right? Anyway, Bitcoin, let's look at the daily, all right? So we're having this, I'm going to try and cover this pretty quickly. I've said in previous videos that we were maintaining our support in this upper region of the 30,000. I said the other day in the last video, we're going to start coming down, we're going to lose that power and start moving and testing in the lower third. We've moved down to this point, but it's not staying down there long. We've got these big wicks here because basically we have 2 Dragonfly Dojis. If you do not know what a Dragonfly Doji is, go look it up. You need to understand what a symbol like this means. In a downtrend, not always the best, but basically they are generally a bit more of a bullish signal, or they at least show that there's a lot of bulls trying to maintain a certain support around a price. Okay, and that's what all these big wicks are. The sellers have pushed it down, the bulls have pushed back. The bears push it down, the buyers push it back. Okay, so there's a really, really powerful struggle between the bulls and the bears in this mid $30,000 range. They are trying to gain the upper hand for their side. The bulls are trying to get the upper hand to maintain this price up here. The bears are trying to push it down so they can get more selling and get Bitcoin at a better price. Either way, most of us don't really lose, we win. We're sitting here waiting for it to play out. Okay? So all in all, I could look at these and say, well, it's quite bearish. What I tend to say, because it's a downtrend, is that the bulls are working hard to maintain a support here at this level. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bullish. All right, this is the daily chart, so we need to consider that. The other thing I want to consider and bring to mind is that if you've been learning about some patterns in trading, you should really know what this one is. All right, and all these other Bitcoin bullshitters are not talking about this at all, okay? It is a head and shoulders. It's on the daily, it's on the weekly, all right? This could be very bad for Bitcoin. And when I say very bad, it's probably going to drop down to around this kind of support region, the 25,000. That's what can push it down there. Okay. We see on the stochastic that the selling has really sort of run its course. We're down around the zero mark. It's really, really oversold. That can be a good thing. It can slow down the momentum of the selling generally, but if you had the same thing on the daily and the weekly and the monthly, I would say your bottom's in. We don't have that though. On the monthly, we still have a lot of room for Bitcoin to sell off. Okay, here's your $30,000 region. We're not even at that yet, but I think we will get there very soon. There is a possibility that this is a rising star, so we could see this sort of sitting down here and then have a nice big boom back up, even halfway back up here. Maybe get an engulfing, a bullish engulfing candle, but I think that's really unlikely at this point in time. It's possible, but unlikely. That's what I'd like to see. But then you'd probably end up with more of a top and it would still keep coming down. So it'd be better to see this maybe come down a little bit more, hit this $25,000 region, and the real low would be, so the $20,000, which is here, and your $15,000 region here. These can all happen on a monthly, but because this weekly on the stochastic, like I said before, is kind of really oversold, and they're just. There's a lot of support here with the institutional buyers, maybe some retail buyers buying up the coin. All right, they're all sort of maintaining this, but as you can see, it is a head and shoulders pattern, I believe, and it has the potential to really break down and go lower. So our lowest at this point in time would be 25,000. I don't think it's going there just yet, but there is that potential. I think it more likely get around the $30,000 range, 29,000, and that would probably be most support that we need. If we can come down and just sort of sit there and then just maintain a good support at these levels here, around this level, I think we might be okay, and Bitcoin could start rising up a little bit later in the year, probably August. That's what I'm kind of seeing at the moment. All right. If we go to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, the momentum on the stochastic is pretty bullish. It's working hard against this resistance area. I put a little trade on with just a small amount yesterday, I think it was, around, I only know it in Australian dollars, so I don't think it's, so probably around 3, no, it would have been lower than that. Maybe around the 32, something like that. The point is, I'm up a bit. The last 24 hours, so I'm just going to hold it a little bit longer. It's looking okay at the moment, so I might take some profit off my trade very shortly, but it's not a leverage trade. I don't use leverage trading, haven't done that for some time now. I've moved away from that. It's just too scammy. The 1 hour. Okay, so the bulls are still fighting. They're trying to regain some ground here. I can't really see it going up past sort of this point, or even maybe sort of here. So we can sort of reach that point, get up another $500, that would be great. Make a nice little profit out of that trade. Okay, let's have a look at Ethereum next. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the daily again. Daily's a pretty good spectrum on what you want to have a look at for direction. Still quite bullish on the stochastic. There's some buying there, so that even though the price is coming down, there's obviously a lot of people sort of buying around this support region here. It broke out of this triangle, so now it's probably headed down. If it breaks the support, probably headed down to this our support beam here at the lower end of the triangle. And if that holds up, we should get some nice buying momentum. But if it doesn't hold up and just keeps pressing against it like this did, it's going to fall through. So generally though, I mean, I would say Ethereum is still pretty bullish. Well, actually really bullish for the most part. It's still in this ascending triangle. We've still got a fair bit of room to make up in this region here fair bit of time to play out. As long as it stays in this triangle, I think Ethereum could go pretty well. We don't want it to sort of come down and test this region too much, but there is a fair bit of support here, so at the moment, looking okay. Cardano is looking really good. Okay, it's holding strong. It's worked its way through this triangle, retested support in this area here below the triangle top. Okay, it's called an ascending triangle. Okay, and it's still sort of just holding this ground here. Pretty well oversold on the daily, but you know, you can always go down a lot more. But I think for the most part, it's kind of holding its support. So if you got Cardano, I don't think you have a lot to be worried about. Okay, I'm just going to test one thing. I haven't done it again, have I? Looks like it is. All right. Okay, so yeah, if you're holding Cardano, looking pretty good. I don't think you have a lot to worry about there. Cardano, the creators of Cardano are coming out, spending a lot of time with the community and telling them what they're doing, and I think they're behaving really well. I think Cardano generally has a pretty good future at this point. If they keep doing that sort of thing, they've got a pretty good future. I don't know what the project is. I don't care. My interest is price. I'm a trader. Okay, so I don't care what the project is. I just care about price. XRP. Let's have a look at XRP. Having a bit of a struggle here at the moment. Kind of hit this peak. A bit of a, I wouldn't call that a double top, but it was definitely testing these ranges here, and then just couldn't hold it, and it's dropped through. So not looking too good at the moment. It had a good shoot out of the ascending triangle here, and then just sort of made its profit. And I think a lot of people have said, "Yeah, that's enough. Let's sort of run for the hills here. Let's get out while we can." You know, so you had this kind of loss of faith, but that was the big Bitcoin drop as well. So it couldn't even hold this support along the line here. So it's come back to its original support, and it's trying to see what it can do. On the weekly, still more downside on the weekly. Not looking the best, unfortunately. But you know, XRP is XRP. It's survived this long, so it'll keep going. But you know, at this point in time, I'm seeing it's a little bit more of a bearish trend continuing. As long as it can hold up and stay above this support area here, I think it should be okay for a little while. Last one, Dogecoin. Dogecoin held up pretty strongly. Let's go to the daily first. It's had, you know, Bitcoin's had a lot of crud, but these guys have copped a lot of crud as well. They've taken a lot of shit. But for this complete utter shit coin for what it is, it's got Musk behind it, and a lot of people believe in these kind of meme coins. So, you know, it's actually holding up pretty well. Bit of a kind of descending triangle going on here. I'll show you what I mean. You know, you've got this kind of downward slope, and you've got a fair bit of support here. So, I mean, you could sort of move this around a little bit. You know. And these support there. What normally happens with these is that they kind of tend to bounce around and pop out, you know, have a bit of a shoot up, and then sort of work their way down, and then kind of move along this baseline here and find ground again. Usually this does act as a pretty good support. Can't see this breaking anytime immediately soon, but is there breakouts coming? It's going to be a bit tough when it's in this angle. For now, I'm just going to say it's going to hold support and probably poke its head above this little line here, this little trend line, and see if it can break it and then work its way back down, and then, you know, maybe it'll start getting some more momentum later. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Please like, please subscribe. I hope this video has been informative and helpful for you. Share it around. Let's get some likes going on some quality videos, some quality trading videos. Ignore all the other FUD and ignore all the other bullshit. Need to go learn some strategies. Go learn how to trade. You don't have to be trading every day, but learn how to put some trades in. Learn how the market works. You can use TradingView here to do paper trades. You're not even using real money. It just gives you an account and you can put money in. Just play with things. Learn with things, okay? Don't waste your time listening to these other idiots. I watch them reasonably occasionally because I'm curious about what bullshit they're spreading next, and I'll put comments in put comments in their videos sometimes. It probably looks like I'm trolling, but I'm just trying to make people aware. There's so many people out there that just don't know what they're doing at all, and they'll trust anything and anyone that they hear. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Be smart, bank on Bitcoin. See you next time.